Hey everybody, it's Robert, the Asian Film Junkie, back with another review. This time it is Season 2 of Rurouni Kenshin. This is my box set, all 7 discs containing 35 episodes, and this is by far my favorite season of Kenshin. To me and to many others, it's the best one out there. So let's get started on it. The episode run is from episodes 28 to 62, and that entire run is all the Kyoto arc. There's no filler whatsoever in this season. So basically what this season's all about is Kenshin is hired by the government to go and defeat Shishio Makoto. He's the replacement for Kenshin after he retires, and he is killed by the government. Well, they try to set him on fire, they stab him a few times, but they're terrible at their jobs because he survives. So because of the fire that burned him on, that they caught him on fire, he has wrappings all over his face. He's very, very iconic to Kenshin and to anime. I mean, he's just one of the most recognizable. He's almost, I would dare say, the Darth Vader of anime. He's just that very iconic look. I mean, who else do you know that's got the wrappings all over his body and a flaming sword? I mean, he's just very iconic. So the first thing that happens is Kenshin and him meet in this, this deserted, oh, it's not deserted, but this village where Shishio he's got his thumb on it, and the Japanese government has completely wiped it off of the map. They're just like, screw it, he can have it. It's not worth the effort to get it back. So Kenshin goes there and he's like, yo, we're going to stop this. So they fight, and Shishio leaves, and he's like, Seta Sojuro, who is his apprentice, he tells him to fight Kenshin. And well, Seta is this really awesome villain. I really like him. He's one of my favorite villains in the series. Can you really call him an anti-villain? Like the opposite of an anti-hero? Anyway, he's super fast. He can do Botojutsu like Kenshin. So they first clash, and it breaks Kenshin's sword. Just shatters it in half, and so that really sets into motion. Kenshin has to find a new sword, so he goes back to the sword maker that made his sword, and he's dead. So he tries to get his son to make him a sword, and his son's like, I'm not making swords anymore. So this encounter leads you to the second of the Jupangaten, the 11 swords of Shishio. And this is the sword hunter. His name's Cho, and this is one of my big complaints with the English dub, is that he sounds like he's from like the deep south of the United States, and it just gets on my nerves, and I don't know what it is about these voice actors. They get under my skin, and he talks like this and whatnot, and I'm just like, that's not for me. I much prefer the Japanese voice actor in this case. But I'm not going to go super in-depth into the storyline. We're just going to introduce some characters right now. So besides from Shishio Makoto, you have his lover. Her name is Yumi. She was the most prized geisha in all the land, and Shishio came and wiped her off his feet. Her feet, excuse me. There's some transgender, but not yet. We'll get there. So his second-hand man he's a man named Hoji. He hates the government for reasons that I'm not going to go in here. And as I said, his apprentice is Seta Sojuro, and then you have Hinya, and he's this dude he's super skinny. You can see all his bones and stuff, and he's got wings, and he flies. He throws bombs down, and the explosion lifts him into the sky, and he's pretty cool. And he fights with Kamatari, who is the transgender. And that's the official statement on the wiki, is that she is transgendered. I always thought that he was gay, And the way that it's portrayed in the manga is, I just thought he was gay and liked to cross dress. But according to the official wiki, she is transgendered, and so whatever. You don't get it in the anime as much, but in the manga, there's this really funny scene where Yahiko refers to her as her, and she's like, "What are you talking about?" and lifts up her kimono, and there's a wang there, and Misao is like, "Holy crap, I haven't seen one so big in my entire life," and it's just this hilarious moment. So besides from him, her, depending on your interpretation of the source material, but again, I will say that the official word from the wiki is that she is transgendered. So aside from her, you have Angie, who is this monk, and he's really got this heart-wrenching backstory, and you can't help but to feel for him and to understand where he's coming from and why he hates the government so much, and why he attaches to a man like Shishio. He is a master of this technique called the Mastery of the Two Layers. He teaches it to Sanosuke unwittingly that he was going to have to fight Sanosuke later on. So there's this pretty epic battle between Sanosuke and Angie, and it's like Mastery of Two Layers versus Mastery of Two Layers. Who's mastered it more? And the answer to that question is Angie. He has mastered it more, but Sanosuke is pretty good on his feet, so that's actually a really good fight. After him, you have this blind guy whose name is Usei, and he's awesome. He, like I said, he's blind. He's blinded by Shishio, actually, back in his Hitokiri days, and he works with Shishio under the understanding that he will try to kill Shishio any chance he's given. And so he's pretty cool, and we'll get more into him in a few minutes. After him, you have Iwanbo, who's this like fat dude, and he's kind of not there all mentally, but he has these like razor sharp claws, and he jumps around and causes just mass devastation. And you don't really get it in the anime, and this is what I don't like about season 3 of the anime, and I'll get into it more next time. But there's a lot more character development, especially with this specific character, that you don't get in the anime. So we'll talk about that next time. I don't want to get too far into that. After him, you have the doubles. There's two. There's this really tall guy. His name's Fuji. He's kind of a giant. And then you have excuse my Japanese. I have it written down. Saizushi. Anyway, he's this really small dude, and he's like Fuji's master, and he's got him on his shoulder or in his hand, and he's walking around and whatnot. And another major character that's brought in this season is Hikosojiro, Kenshin's master, and he's so cool. Like, I love him to death. He's like one of my favorite characters. He's always drinking sake. He's a potter by trade, and you really couldn't tell that he was this major master of this sword technique. So aside from them, you have Miso Makamachi, who is a shinobi. She works with the Oniwanbanshu. She is in love with Aoshi Shinomura, and her uncle has become the leader of the Oniwanbanshu since Aoshi went nuts and has left. And there's a small group of them, and they're pretty important to the storyline and to some of the stuff that happens. But that's pretty much all the characters. There's some other minor ones, and it's not really super important for this point. So let's move on to the next stage, and the next stage is sound. So the opening theme, it starts off with the same opening theme that was throughout season 1, which is Sobakatsu by Judy and Mary. It's just that classic Kenshin theme, which really, doesn't fit to the vibe that Kenshin is, but it's a classic and I love it. I think everyone who watches Kenshin loves the opening theme from season 1. And so after that one, you have One Half by Makoto Kawamoto, and it's pretty good. I prefer the original season 1 opening, but it's not too bad. And those are your two themes, your two opening themes for season 2. You have 3 closing themes for season 2, and the first one is probably my favorite closing theme. I know it's my wife's favorite closing theme, and that's Heart of Sword by TM Revolution. It's very good. And that one goes for a while, and then you get the 4th Avenue Cafe. And honestly, I was looking at the wiki, looking at the names of the songs, and I don't even remember this one because apparently it was only on for a couple episodes. And then the drummer got caught with heroin, and they switched it back to Heart of Sword. So I don't even remember that one very well. And then after Heart of Sword comes back for a few episodes, it switches to It's Gonna Rain by Bonnie Pink, and that's where it ends season 3 or season 2, excuse me. That those are the 3 closing themes. So next up is my favorite moments and the animation in those moments. Number 1 favorite scene in all of Kenshin is Kenshin versus Saito. They meet up again after so many years, and I remember reading it in the manga, and I was just like, oh my lord, this is so amazing. This fight was just everywhere, and it was just crazy, and you could tell how Kenshin was turning back into the Batosai, Saito was turning back into a Shinsengumi, Wolf of Mibu, and it's just crazy, action-packed everywhere. And the anime nailed it. It was 100% perfect translation from the page to film. It was awesome. The animation in this fight sequence is quick, it's fast, it's all over the place, and it's really good. You never lose track of the pace. It's awesome. Probably my favorite fight of the Kenshin franchise, hands down, and it ranks up there in my favorite fights of all time in all anime. Number 2 is Saito versus Usei. You really just get to see Saito unleashed. Throughout this, they're fighting the people, and Kenshin's like, yo, don't kill him, just knock him out. Well, Saito's like, y'all go ahead. And so Usei lets Kenshin and Sanosuke leave with Yumi, and Saito kills him. Like, I'm not even gonna spoiler alert it. It's like 20 years old by now. He just kills him, and it's this really cool fight. It's not too long. It lasts like 10 minutes, but it's a really good fight. So next, after that, is Kenshin versus Aoshi, round 2, and it's really the first time you get to see Amakakuri Ryo no Harameki in battle, not against his master, and it's a pretty cool fight. It's in this like library, so there's like books flying around, and Aoshi's kicking over the shelves, and I mean, it's just awesome. It's a really good fight. And next up is the big battle, the big fight of the season. So my number 4 moment is Kenshin et al. Versus Shishio. Really good fight. Kenshin fights Shishio, gets beat up. Then Saito comes in and he gets beat up. Then Sanosuke comes in, he gets beat up. Then Aoshi comes in and then he gets beat up. And then Kenshin comes back in, and Shishio bursts into flames and dies. So, spoiler warning. Anyway, number 5, just to round out the list, I was going to leave it at 4, but I like 5 a little bit more than top 4, is Kenshin versus Seta, round 2. And you really get to see Seta's abilities and much more in depth. And while this is going on, you you learn about his past and how he came to be where he is now. And it's a really good fight, and you really get to understand the villain. And yeah, it definitely deserves a spot on top 5 for season 2. So that's it. I mean, that's my top 5 favorite moments. The animation is great through all of them. So all that's left is a ranking. Easily, without any hesitation, 10 out of 10. It's 99.85% accurate to the manga. And I try to tell everyone this when they ask me. It's very, very close to the manga. Just some minor things that they take out, mainly because I don't know how it would react to TV audiences at the time. But so 99.85. It's a must buy if you get the chance to buy the set. I mean, it's no thrills. Again, I have the same issue that I had with with season 1. I wish they'd have numbered the darn discs, but they didn't number the discs, so your disc can really get mixed up, and it's just a pain. And it really could have been avoided by just numbering the discs. So I'm probably just going to go in with a Sharpie and just 1, 2, and move on. If you can't buy it, I think I bought this for like $120 way back in the day, and I don't think it's really moved from that. But I haven't checked prices in a long time. So, but you can stream it. It's on Netflix. All 3 seasons are on Netflix. Just be aware that the episode listing from from these discs is different than on that. Season 2 contains some filler episodes that are not on my discs for season 2. They are on my disc for season 3, but not for season 2. So they've kind of shifted everything up a little bit, and I don't like that. I like my season 2 to be nicely, beautifully the Kyoto arc from start to finish, and then move on to season 3. I am working on season 3 right now. I'm 12 or 13 episodes in. It will be. I'll get through watching it by next week to do my review for season 3. So that's it. That's all I got. So we'll see you in the next video, and God bless.